I'm Deanna Mackey, founder of Public Media Women in Leadership. Thanks for joining us today for our next episode of Motivational Minutes. This is to celebrate our organization's 5th anniversary. And today I'm speaking to Zara Frankel. She is a director of programming and development at PBS, and she's also leading the Trailblazers series, which is in honor of the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment that gave women the right to vote. So it's so nice to meet you, Zara, virtually.
So nice to meet you. Yes, exactly. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so our pleasure. We love this series. We're super excited about it. So I just have a few questions for you. And the first is, tell us a little bit about Trailblazers and what inspired this series.
Yeah, so Trailblazers is one of our initiatives that'll be airing on broadcast this summer and then living forever streaming online. And so it's a culmination of a variety of content celebrating trailblazing women across genre and throughout the past 100 years or so. So the inspiration for the initiative itself is in celebration of the 100th anniversary coming up this summer, which celebrates the passing of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. And so the initiative is anchored in a limited series coming from our American Experience strand. And it's a 2-part series that looks at the last decade around the time that the 19th Amendment was passed. And then from there, you know, our content, again, is across genre in the initiative. So we have, topics in the arts, contemporary history, public affairs, science. So there's really something for everyone to tune into and enjoy.
That sounds great. And it's all about women's contributions in those different genres, correct?
Yes, it is. So, you know, from, the one woman play, Anne, the Anne Richards play, which celebrates her and her contribution. We have shows like Prehistoric Road Trip, which features Emily Grassley, who is chief curiosity correspondent for the Chicago Field Museum. And she takes viewers on an epic road trip into the United States fossil country. And so, you know, across the board, it really celebrates the contribution of trailblazing women in their own right.
I love that idea so much, and the thought that went into showing women in lots of different roles. I think that's terrific.
Yes.
Well, I told you earlier that one of my favorite parts of this series is the digital shorts Unladylike, which looks at women in history and women that we haven't heard of before and the things that they've done to literally blaze the trail for the future of whether, as you said, it's science or arts or human rights, so many different ways that women have contributed. And I would love to hear, there are many of those shorts. Which one is your favorite? Which story really touched you?
Yeah, so I know I mentioned it was really hard to narrow down just one. So we have many shorts that are streaming online. It actually started earlier this year, debuting one a week on our website, and we'll have a handful of those shorts in a 1-hour special from our American Experience strand. And so one of the shorts that they intend to include in their 1-hour special is about Joan Henry, who was imprisoned many years ago for writing a fraudulent check and ended up writing a semi-autographical book based on her experience while in prison. And I just, you know, the short itself is beautiful, and I admire the story. But again, I mean, there's so many stories throughout the entirety of Unladylike that should be watched and enjoyed and celebrated. And like you said, I'm so happy they're featuring, you know, women that we learned about in school, and then women that, you know, some people might be less familiar with. And so it's really great that they're featuring all types of stories.
I agree so much. And I think, you know, I'm a big believer in that idea, you can't be what you can't see. And so I think telling these stories and learning about women in all these different walks of life who help make a difference is so critical, especially for young women and little girls to see and aspire to.
Absolutely. And I'll say, Unladylike, the producers did a wonderful job, featuring women in, further back in history and then present day, or stories from the past, 20 or 30 years. I always have to remind myself how recent, or, some of these things happened, and we either don't talk about them, we didn't know about them. And so I think it's just a wonderful project that I know that they, labor of love for them. They've been working on this for years now. So it's wonderful to see.
I agree. And I think also the juxtaposition in those shorts of using the historical photos and writings to show the person from the past, like the one about the woman who was, I believe she was the first African American pilot.
Yeah.
But then you show a current pilot, a woman of color who's a pilot, and what her life is like now living in, current times. And I think that's terrific too.
I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah. So in the course of working with these producers and learning about all these different stories in the Trailblazers initiative, what has surprised you?
I think what surprised me is how much I thought I knew and how much I really didn't, unfortunately. How much, I never read about, never learned about, never exposed myself to. I think there's so much history that is just not seen, not spoken about. And so I'm really so happy that this initiative exists to, speak these names into existence on a platform to be seen by so many people.
So I know that the content will be available on the PBS video app for a long time and through stations, passport connections. So that's terrific. But tell us a little bit more about, from a logistical perspective, when it launches, where can you find the content? When are some of the key programs coming out?
Yeah, so we have content rolling out throughout the summer on broadcast. And so we really, made effort to have this be a steady drumbeat throughout the summer. And again, not saving one genre for a particular time, but releasing, different content across those weeks. So there's really entry points for everyone who's interested in different facets, of the topics that we intend to cover. And so, that'll be, again, on a rolling basis throughout the summer. And as you mentioned, the ability to stream online, OTT, all of your options.
Why do you think it's important to tell these stories about women's roles in history?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said before, you can't be what you can't see. And I think drawing upon that, showing these women in all different types of industries, different ages, different careers, different career paths. I think it's just extremely important that these stories are told. Shows like And She Could Be Next, which is coming from our POV strand, which is a mini series from them that follow women of color running for election, running during the past election cycle. It's just a beautiful film, and I think just an important watch for everyone. If I'm trying to think of like some of the other content we have coming out. I mentioned Prehistoric Road Trip, which is in the science space. Gloria, A Life, which is a play about Gloria Steinem that premiered, off Broadway, and we have it here for audiences to enjoy. Is a wonderful play. Should really be seen. I'd love for the school systems to show it to students, because it really gives a great foundation. Not only is it entertaining and engaging, but it gives a great foundational knowledge of what was taking place throughout Steinem's life, and so that being an entryway into these histories and stories.
Oh, that sounds excellent. I'll look forward to that.
It's a really great play. Yeah.
Is there anything else I haven't covered that you'd like to share with us about this?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think, keeping in mind that, the content is not only there to watch on broadcast, to stream, I think for students who are at home this summer, if they want to, continue to dig into these stories, there will be components from our learning media team, on the website. And so I think if there are people and stories and histories and backgrounds that you're unfamiliar with, that you've never heard of, I mean, I think there's more to be learned. And so there are robust experiences to be had on all different types of platforms. And so I would direct people there as well. We're also, on social media, we'll be having engagement through something we're called trading cards. And so these trading cards will feature individual trailblazers. And so each trading card will be, we commissioned different diverse female artists to create them. And so the front of the card, it's a digital card, and the front will have the actual trailblazer herself, and on the back will be information about the initiative, how to watch, where to find it. And so, that was really exciting. That's something we haven't done yet or before in the digital space. So.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Zara, for joining us. This was a terrific conversation. All of us at Public Media Women in Leadership are super excited about this initiative, and we're so happy that we could share your story with our community.
Thank you so much. It was really great. Thank you.